Today on episode 141 of Typical Chicago Fans, we have Sinkers and Floaters, TCF Sports Minute, media recommendations, two new segments, College Visit, and Mascot Match Up, and of course the TCF top three of the sweetest football positions. Let's roll. Hello and welcome to episode 141 of Typical Chicago Fans, brought to you by our incredible sponsors, Connect Roasters Coffee. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at typical_Chicago. Head to Facebook and Instagram. Give those pages a like as well. Go on over to YouTube, subscribe to our page there for all of our content in video form. Wherever you get your podcasts, we are there as well. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Google Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts, we are there. Make sure you follow us, whichever one you choose to use. You can follow me on Twitter at BoomyTCF, but you can also follow the guy that I'm joined with tonight. That is Zach at Lilia TCF. Zach, we are in the dog days of summer. It's starting to, get a little warmer. We're still kicking around 90, but how you holding up, man?
When I woke up this morning, you looked outside and you thought it was foggy. No, that's just the humidity.
Yeah. That time of year, baby.
Never a good way to start the day.
And then we got a little bit of rain in the afternoon. It's just I love summer. I prefer summer over winter, but man, it's I don't know. I feel like I couldn't even walk down to the mailbox without sweating. It's one of those days.
It's one of those days where if you're going to go outside, you're going to sweat.
Yeah, you just got to accept it and just be ready. I think I changed clothes 3 times today. I think this is my 3rd change of clothes. So, you get ready for it. You accept it. It is what it is. So, but let's jump into it. As always, we have sinkers and floaters. I will start with my sinker, and that is golf carts. And that is because a woman in Titusville, Florida, decided to go on a little joyride the other day down the busiest interstate in Florida on the shoulder in her golf cart with an open bottle of Jack Daniels. First of all, can't have open alcohol. You can't be drunk while driving. And then you definitely cannot take said golf cart on any interstate, let alone the busiest interstate in the state. That would be the equivalent of someone in Illinois driving a golf cart down 80 or 39. And not to mention, she was absolutely hammered trying to drive on the side. I mean, could you imagine, though, being in a golf cart and having semis whizzing by you at 65, 70 miles an hour? Lady, what are we doing here?
Yeah, I don't think that she really cared about that in the state she was in.
Yeah, you're probably right. She probably had places, and I know golf cart culture is very big in Florida. A lot of places have them, even up
on the
here,
sidewalks.
Yeah, exactly. Even if it was
I guess not sidewalks, but on the road or whatever, in the towns, not on the interstates.
Yeah, and especially not the busiest interstate. What? I mean, I guess it's true, man. Florida's just a much different place, and you can't be driving.
A Florida story.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. That's about as Florida, as they come right there. So, if you're gonna drive your golf cart, don't do it drunk and don't do it on the interstate.
Very true. Well, my sinker is my knee, which is also the reason why Maddie is not here. He also hurt his knee today. It's very fortunate for Boomy that he is still standing.
Yeah, it's been a busy, pretty active week for me too. So I'm not gonna lie. I played basketball a couple nights. I've been out doing stuff basically all day. I'm not gonna lie. You guys got me a little worried. I'm thinking a padded room this weekend might be the move.
But yeah, I'm old. I stepped in a hole, so it's not very exciting. But yeah, nothing's worse than a swollen knee or whatever. You never know what's wrong with it. It's just it's very painful, especially when you're trying to fall asleep at night, not to accidentally turn over on it by accident. But Boomy brought me over an ice pack. Thank you for that. Been icing it for a while, elevating it, staying elevated, and just trying to get through that. It's especially the first 2 or 3 days afterwards. You just got to get rid of the swelling, and you hope that once the swelling goes down, you're all good.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And like it's, like you said, we're getting old and it's not even like a cool story, right? You
No.
weren't, it wasn't even like slow pitch softball or anything sports related. You just stepped in a hole,
Mhm.
it happens. And me being probably the most, accident prone person on this podcast, I'm not cherishing that you guys got hurt. I am just kind of mind blown with the fact that it wasn't me this time. Normally I'm the one
But you
that's,
said you play basketball and something bad almost did happen.
almost happened. Yeah, literally first possession of the game almost went down on a very, very slippery floor. But we kept it together. But 2 days in a row, you guys going down. I'm a little worried about Thursday. So, knock on wood anyway.
Boomy's staying home.
Yeah, oh yeah. Whatever my plans are the rest of the week, I should probably just cancel them. And even then, I'd wait to like fall down my stairs or slip in the kitchen or in the bathtub. God knows what. I mean, you guys got me a little worried. I'm not going to lie here. But I would tell you this, my floater, if I did get injured, I would want this animal to protect me. And that is because my floater is guard cats. You've heard of guard dogs before and, animals that protect their house. I've never heard of a guard cat, but that was the case for a man in Belden, Mississippi, whose 20-pound cat stopped a home invasion. Apparently, this home invasion happened to Fred Everett in Tupelo, Mississippi, and that it was like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, and the cat, jumped out of bed, ran into the living room, and attacked this person that was trying to break in the house, clawing him and all that good stuff. So shout out! I'm not. Kind of saved the day right there. You don't hear about that very much.
No, I never even heard of a guard cat.
Yeah, never. This is a first. I'm almost 32 years old. I've never heard of a guard cat. Letting the owner know, like ran in the bedroom, let the owner know, then went to attack the person trying to break in. So shout out. There's not many cats I shout out on this podcast, but this cat Bandit is one that's getting a shout out.
Good for that cat. My floater is Slam Ball. I saw something on Twitter today that it will be returning in the summer of 2023, which is just awesome. I think it was on Spike TV. That was so fun to watch. And I'm very excited for it. I know it's a year away, but it's something that I'd never really thought would return. And I'm excited for it to return. So I don't know. I got some nephews that I think would enjoy watching it when they get a little older. I think it's a very fun thing to watch, just because it's cool. The most exciting thing about a basketball game, I guess, 3-pointers, but a dunk, and these guys just hit the trampoline, go so high. Probably not the most athletic people in the world. They'd have to be at least a little athletic, but like me or you could maybe go out there and have a little fun with it.
Right. Oh, absolutely. And that was one, like when it first came out. Those guys, a lot of them were, like former college athletes or played like Division II, Division III. And so it's good basketball, but man, you had trampolines and dunks. It's kind of one of those things like we all did as a kid, right? Like playing on trampolines and stuff like that, or lowering the hoops at least. They're doing it, from the top level. That's very, very excited about that.
I don't know what channel or where it's going to be at, but I know it will be returning.
Can't wait, man. I can't wait for that. That's going to be a good one. Oh, speaking of sports coming back, and not really coming back, but I believe the league that the Chicago Blitz, I believe it used to be called the Lingerie Football League, but their new home is in Rockford. They're playing at the BMO Harris Center that we go to Ice Hogs games. Yeah, they got the turf. I just saw it on Facebook. They got the turf laid out. They are starting their season up, I believe, here at the end of the month. So I thought that league had folded, but apparently they're bringing it back. So
that's some
I have to go catch a game. Yes, it is. Let's go ahead and get into it. The TCF Sports Minute. We're going to start off with the Cubbies, 41-61. They're 15.5 games out, but that's not really the biggest news here. The big news is no major moves were made at the deadline. Everybody was kind of expecting Wilson Contreras and Ian Happ to get moved. They did trade Scott Efros, Gibbons, Robertson, and Martin. But let's go through the trades they did make first. Obviously, Scotty Efros. This is the move that they made that confuses me the most. They have Scott Efros on.
Boomy, I'm going to stop you right there because it did confuse me too. But they got number 7 prospect Hayden Wazensky. He has 83 strikeouts in 19 AAA starts this season. I think he is going to be a very good player. And I understand, yes, he has 5 years of control. Efros has just finally came out to the major leagues. But I do think that they did get a good return for him.
Yeah, and I don't disagree there. My issue is I believe Scott Efros is 28. So I get, like, you got younger with the deal because, like, the kid they picked up, is pretty solid.
Slider is nasty.
Yeah, but like Scott Efros is nasty right now. I think he's probably the best reliever in the Cubs bullpen. But obviously, as we've seen, he's not really the Cubs are not ready to compete. They're obviously 15 and a half out, but it is what it is. And, he was having a solid Scott Efros. I mean, 3.68 ERA. He's having a solid year, but like we said, the Cubs are not looking to compete really till 25, 26 maybe. So it is what it is. That was the only move that really puzzled me. Michael Gibbons traded to the Mets. I'll be honest, I did not see what they got back in that. But the Mets made a little bit of a move to bolster up their bullpen. They're leading the division now, so I kind of get it. It does appear that the Cubs received Saul Gonzalez, a minor league pitcher, from the Mets in that deal.
It doesn't really matter, though. We got PCA last year, so.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe that was
Have you seen reports that is going to be one of, a horrible move for them? For 3 months of Javier Baez, we got him. That's who we got him for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that one that might not work out very well.
I think the Cubs have some good minor league players coming up here in the next few years. And I think, especially with some of the moves, they made pitching moves, which they never really made back in the Theo Epstein days. They always tried to go out and get pitching that is good now. And I think they're trying to go for the 2024-2025 season. And it actually seems like it's starting to work out.
Right.
It's a long time waiting, though. Who knows yet?
Exactly. And we talked about this, years now. The minor league system was so depleted, and now it's finally starting to make a turn. And as it should when you've dealt, the stars that the Cubs have dealt in the last couple of years. Moving to the next trade, David Robertson gets sent to the Phillies for a kid named Ben Brown, who from what I've seen, I'm a big fan of this trade. He's kind of skyrocketed and had a really, really good summer in high A. He was a 33rd round pick, I believe. And you pick him up for a guy that could be slotted in your starting rotation in 25, 26 when you're ready to compete for a 38-year-old reliever. So I don't hate this move either.
He's playing really well, but it was a very confusing signing when they signed him.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think they were
they made some really good moves at the deadline. And we're going to go into it with the Contreras, Ian Happ. I think what they didn't just make a move to make a move, which was nice to see. You know what I mean? Maybe they waited a little too long and they didn't get what they wanted, but they didn't just give them up for nothing.
Right. They didn't take the cheapest offer that someone gave them, and you never know how those go, especially Wilson, right? Like that deal. I don't think I can judge right now how that deal shaped out until the off season.
Because if they don't re-sign him, then it's just confusing.
Not even that. If they don't offer him the qualifying offer, you take the draft pick. Like that's basically like bare minimum what they should get. Obviously, I've said this multiple times. I don't know where I sit on, giving a 30-year-old catcher, a huge deal. I'm not crazy about that. And it, obviously we'll never know what packages got offered for Contreras.
They could have also went into what other teams were thinking too. We're not going to trade our whole farm system for a 30-year-old catcher.
Right. But you have to go offer him the qualifying offer. You have to do that. And at minimum, get the draft pick out of him. Now, Ian Happ, again, we won't be able to see how this plays out until, after next season. He's up, on a contract through the end of next year. And obviously, I think his stock is as high as it's ever been. And I'm not saying this is the highest it'll ever be because he's having a great year. He was an all-star. But, only one more year of control. And if you don't extend him, you're going to look at the situation that the Cubs are in right now with Wilson Contreras that you will be in with Ian Happ 12 months from now. So either you extend him or we're going to do this exact same thing next year. And I don't know how, obviously right now I would say to extend Ian Happ. Ian Happ's 27 years old. He's playing the best baseball of his life. But it'll be interesting. And I can't judge not making this deal until all is played out with the rest of these contracts, if that makes sense.
No, it's very true. You have to wait and see what the offseason brings. You can be happy that they didn't trade him because at least the games will be more exciting for the rest of the season. But you don't really know what's going to happen until the offseason with Contreras. You know that they hadn't had contract talks since 2017. So is it going to start here in the next few weeks? Is it going to start here at the offseason? Or are they just going to let him go? If they let him go, then that would be insane. But hopefully they do what you said, at least bare minimum.
Yeah. You got to do the qualifying offer. And then if other teams want to go ahead and pay more, then you take your draft pick and you go home.
He did look so happy though yesterday.
Yeah. He's a guy that wants to be in Chicago, and at the same time, though, like if you want to be here, then we'll see what happens when it comes to contract negotiations. And in Wilson's defense, he's a guy that's learned how to play the outfield and can play, first base if needed to be. But because obviously, you've seen it with catchers for years. I mean, Joe Mauer moving to first base for the last 5 to 6 years of his career. Guys that you can't catch for. I think Mike Piazza did the same thing. You can't catch forever. Those knees go out eventually. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. On the other side of town, White Sox, 53 and 51. They're 2 games out of first place. Didn't do anything at the break or at the deadline. Not a thing.
Well, they got a relief pitcher.
Yeah, I mean,
well, he pitched. I think he pitched today. I cannot remember what his name was. He was a left-handed relief pitcher. I think the guy.
I'm looking it up right now. They got a left-hander reliever, Jake Diekman from the Boston Red Sox in exchange for Wire, the 35-year-old, or I'm sorry, the reliever they picked up is a 35-year-old reliever, and they gave up Reese McGuire for that deal. But I mean, I don't think that the big trades were ever really out there, like what teams were asking for. I mean, obviously Soto gets traded, and you saw 5 prospects get traded in that deal. But the Ohtani stuff, I don't think he was ever going to get moved. You've got it. They dangled it out there, but I mean, I don't know how to. Obviously, not being a Sox fan, like, are Sox fans happy about this? I don't think a lot of them are. They probably
I think they're frustrated that there's no moves made. And then Rick Hahn comes out and said, "Oh, I'm frustrated too that we didn't make any moves. It seems like they tried. No one wanted to make the moves." At this point, you got to let the season play out. You have what you have. You're playing better. You got to win this division and see what the playoffs bring.
Yeah, and I think I actually listened to it on Starting Nine. Jake Arrieta talking about it. Like, if you're in a tight division race and in front office, says, "Hey, we're going to stick with our guys." Maybe that's that kind of shot to the ass that the White Sox need, and say, "Hey, like they believe in us. We know we have the ability." I mean, you know, I'm sorry, Hendricks talked about it in his interview too. Like, they know that their play on the field is not what they're capable of, and maybe them not going out and making the move is kind of what they need, that little kick to say, hey, like, we know you guys can do it, go out and do it. And like we said, this team's 2 games out of first place. They're 2 games over 500 now. Are they where we thought they were going to be 3-4 months ago? No, they're way behind that. But the fact of the matter is they're 2 games out of a very, very winnable division, and they're starting to get hot.
Yeah, you just gotta keep playing well. They're in a good
Not
spot.
have your manager
for
fall
as
asleep in the first inning.
Yeah, for as bad as they thought they played, or fans thought they may have played in the first half, they're still in a great spot to win the division. And I think that they are going to win the division.
I do too. I really do. And I don't know, like you said, the Sox are just kind of putting it together right now. But also, like, that division, I mean, the Twins played a really good first half. Like, I don't I don't know if the Twins had the experience to keep that pedal down, and the Guardians. I mean, I don't know if the Guardians have enough firepower, to complete this, but I think that the White Sox have more than enough, ability to win this division. Outside of the Cubs, I mean, Juan Soto going to the Padres. I mean, that's the stuff that trade deadlines are made for. Like, that's insane.
Probably the biggest trade of all time.
Yeah, I mean, here's the worst part though is I don't know if I don't think he's going to re-sign with San Diego. Now, granted, they get him for 2 seasons, but
I guess we'll just have to wait and
that's
see.
tough. And also, like, the people that are like mad at Eric Hosmer for enacting his no trade clause,
he did what he had to do. I
piss
would have done the
off.
same thing.
Yeah, that's starting to look like one of the worst deals, and then especially the Padres having to eat $44 million. That's
I did
not
not
a good.
believe he cannot believe he had making that much money. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
his deal was huge. Because remember, he signed
Good for
that
him.
deal after going to 2 straight World Series.
Yeah, good for him.
Yeah, so I mean, him holding that up, but like that's why you have no trade clauses. Like, that's not his fault.
No.
Now granted, he's going to Boston, who's in last in the AL East in the toughest division in baseball, but it is what it is. A lot of other moves. I mean, I for a second there, I got very worried because I thought Juan Soto was going to the Cardinals, and I didn't want to have to deal with that.
That would have
But
been horrible.
they picked up Jordan Montgomery, I believe, for Harrison Bader. But to be honest with you, I thought that was a fairly quiet MLB trade deadline.
Yeah, not a lot
Outside of
happened.
the
I mean,
Soto
the
trade,
biggest
obviously.
trade happened, but other than that, there wasn't very much surprise at all.
Yeah, I mean, the second biggest surprise of that whole deadline was Contreras not getting traded.
Yeah, very true.
It's just, you never
Very
know.
true, Boomy.
Moving in, we got Bears training camp talk. So first thing we got to bring up, Tevin Jenkins is out for a 6th straight day. There's talks it could go to a week by week. Are you one of those people that are ready to give up on the Tevin Jenkins? I mean, there's rumors they're searching trade offers for him. This is not a good look.
I think that if they can get something for him, it wouldn't be a bad deal. But it's just hoping that you can get what you want. I think that they're going to have to make a move. I just don't. This is not good. But I guess you just have to wait and see if he gets better, how he plays this season. But they are looking at trading him right now, so I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. But yeah, not good.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you have to, expect that you're going to get diminishing returns on a second rounder who has played a half of a season and is a lot of question marks in his medical history. But like, dude, holy cow! I mean,
But
and
you
that's
would
the thing.
hopefully trade him off of potential, maybe that he has shown you what he can be. So you hope it's still there once he gets better. Maybe you can sell that to a team.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely the potential there. I mean, I think realistically, you'd be looking at a 6th or 7th round draft pick in the very far away future. Just until he's healthy,
Yeah.
which is tough right now. I mean, that's not what you want to see out of a kid. That is only in his 2nd year.
No.
Let's see. I believe Justin Fields was admitted that he has another favorite receiver. Obviously, Darnell Mooney is the number one guy. Do you like that Justin Fields is going out and saying, like, I've got a number one receiver, or should he maybe keep that a little closer to the vest so that
I think he's the number one receiver.
Yeah.
I think I mean, if that bothers you, you probably shouldn't be a NFL wide receiver, because you need to know that he is the number one. And like I said, if something like that bothers you, that's not good at all, just because it's just him saying something during training camp just to say something, maybe motivate some guys. I don't know. I don't think it's a big deal.
Well, here's the one that came up on that. He said that he has another favorite receiver, and that is former Packer Equanimeous St. Brown. So at least he's got another one. I believe the Bears brought him in for training camp. So he's at least finding some other targets as they get closer to those first games. But it does hurt a little bit in my heart to see it's a former Packer anyway.
Yeah, that was one of the I don't know if they ever signed him, but they did bring him in for training camp. Let's hope that as many wide receivers as we can have this year. Let's give them as many opportunities as we can.
Definitely. And the last one on the Bears, they start their preseason opener next week. Do you think that the Bears starters should be trotting out there in that first preseason game?
Yes.
I think so too. I mean, if they're healthy and ready to go, like
with Matt Nagy, the last few years, it's don't play when the preachers and don't do this, and they end up playing a little bit, and it's like the first game is like the preseason game. No, let's get the bad reps out of the way. Let's play a little bit. I'm not saying playing a ton, but you got to start that first game.
Well, I think what the idea is that you don't play them, at least from the outside. You don't play them in the first game. You play them a little bit, because now there's only 3 preseason games. So you play them a little bit more in the second and then a lot more in the third to kind of build that up. But like
I say, you start them for the first, even if you just do 1 or 2 possessions, get them out there warming up. Just have them play a little bit. And then the second one, you play whatever you want. And then the third one, you play a bunch or whatever. But I'm tired of, like, I understand you don't want to get hurt. It's the NFL. But it seems like if you gotta go out there and get some reps in.
Yeah, I agree. I think that you have to get those reps in so you're not cold. I mean, there was just some debate, about how much, those guys should be playing. But if they're professional athletes and they're healthy, you got to put them out there.
If it's Aaron Rodgers, no, he's not playing the first game. You can do whatever he wants. But we have Justin Fields in his 2nd year. We got guys who are trying to prove something to this team. There's no wide receiver on this team Darnell Mooney is definitely the best one, but we don't have superstars. We need to go out there and prove that we can play football.
Yep.
And I don't need to be week 1 of the NFL season.
Right. And not even that. I mean, like you said it earlier, like with how many wide receivers, how many guys they brought in for camp, like you have 3 preseason games to figure out who those targets are going to be. Yeah, you got to get those guys reps, and especially with a young quarterback in his 2nd year, you've got to get find out who he's comfortable with and who you're ready to trot out there as the first team on opening day. So I think that it might be Justin Fields might play more reps than you might want, but like you need him out there with those guys that he's going to be throwing it to when it comes to the real thing. So it'll be interesting to see. We do have our first NFL preseason game tonight, Thursday, August 4th. We got the Hall of Fame game, I believe. The Jags and is it the Colts? No, it can't be the Colts. It's the Jags and somebody. Hang on a second. I'm pulling it up. Jags Raiders. So, I mean, I guess it's football, but I'll probably have it on one of the 3 TVs, but
I'll be excited just to see football happening.
Yeah, especially the Jags. I mean, new coach. I mean, you're still talking about Trevor Lawrence. It'll be interesting to see. Like you said, any football is better than no football, unless it's the USFL. No thanks. Before we wrap up the Sports Minute, we got the best team in Chicago, the Chicago Sky, sitting at 23-8. They are 2 games up on the rest of the East. First place in the division. I believe they have 7 games to play. I was just looking at this, and we've talked about some different names on the Chicago Sky. Candace Parker, Courtney Vandersloot, some people that were Allie Quigley, some people that were on that team last year when they won, the WNBA title. But I did not even realize that neither of those 3 was their leading scorer. Kalia Cooper, 15.5 points per game. So there's a 4th to add to the big list. I, for some reason, thought it was Candace Parker. She's averaging 13.4. They have 6 women on their team averaging over 10 points a game. So pretty impressive stuff. 23-8. We've said it for the last month now.
Best
if you have marquee,
Chicago.
Yep, you got to be tuning into Sky games.
Yeah,
especially
marquee, they have games in there. They have highlights on there.
Oh yeah. And if you're in Chicago, make sure you get to a game. Wintrust Arena is a beautiful venue for a basketball game. But that was the TCF Sports Minute. Before we move on, we have to give a big shout out to our sponsor, Connect Roasters Coffee. They make the best coffee around that you can find. They work with our guy, Dom Frederick, Ian Happ, so you know that it is good stuff. Those guys would not drink bad coffee, and they also wouldn't promote it. So make sure to check out their website, connectroasters.com. Follow them on Twitter at Connect Roasters. Me and Zach have been over to their headquarters. They're just great people. They know their stuff. They travel to the places where they get their beans from. It is just a phenomenal company with phenomenal people. So make sure that you check out their website, connectroasters.com, Twitter at Connect Roasters. Join the Home Run Club and win some home run dinger dollars every time that Ian Happ does well. Just go check out their coffee. Put it in your coffee maker. You will thank us later. All right, so this week we got a return of one of my favorite segments, and that is media recommendations. We're going to give each a show, a podcast, an album, YouTube series, YouTube show, whatever we've been taking in media-wise. And this is a little harder for Zach. Zach doesn't tend to stray away from his – once he finds something, he dives deep into it, and he doesn't stray from the path very much. But obviously, he said earlier he's been cooped up with the knee injury, so a little bit more media consumption for Zach. But I'll get us started. And this is my yearly downtime-ish. It's starting to pick back up. But I love horror movies, and if you have not sat and watched the entire Scream, I can't even say trilogy. There's 5 of them. And I believe it's on Showtime or Stars, one of the 2. You got to sit down. You got to watch them in order. Obviously, not all of them are great, but that is and obviously, I know it's an older franchise, but that series of franchise of horror movies are without a doubt my favorite. The Halloween ones are great, but some of those get dragged out. And even some of the Halloween movies, or one of them, the Halloween movies, doesn't even have Michael Myers in it. I believe it's Halloween 3. I may be wrong on that. But the Scream trilogy, I keep saying trilogy, franchise on Stars. If you have Stars, go watch it. And podcasts, I have been deep catching up on Twisted History. I think I've talked about it before, but Large from Barstool and Jeff Vibert run that. That's the podcast I've been listening to a ton lately, obviously as a history buff and kind of a comedic spin on, some of the bad parts of history. So those are my 2 for the week.
Mine, I have one podcast. It's the Bob Does Sports podcast. It's actually it started off as a YouTube page. They did they still do a bunch of videos. They go out and they do 9 holes, and you gotta drink 9 beers and 9 hot dogs, and then they do 2-on-3s, and they do stuff. It's just a lot of fun golf content, just how we would. It's how we would be out in the golf course. They have fun with it.
Yeah.
But they're turning into a podcast, and it's got Bobby Fairways, Joey Colcuts, Fat Perez, and the Jet. And I listened to episode 1 came out on Wednesday. It really, Fat Perez is a very good golfer, and he has a lot of good advice for early golfers just like me and you, we play a lot, but we're not the greatest thing of all time. So it's a really fun podcast to listen to. They talk about their them going out there and the pace of play and stuff like that. It's a really fun podcast to listen to. Just beginning to. Episode 1 came out on Wednesday.
Good call. I like that. Their YouTube series is great, and I follow. They have a good TikTok page too. So if you are on TikTok, give them a follow. Those videos, down into short clips, very funny dudes. I love TikTok. It's so stupid good how that algorithm is. Like, I always check like my daily phone usage, and obviously mine's a lot more in the summer. TikTok is normally number 1 because you'll think you'll be getting on it for 10 minutes and then you sit there.
They know what they're doing.
Oh, it's unbelievable how good they are. But let's move into a new segment, and that is college visits. So we're each going to give each other 5 NFL players, and we've got to name where they went to college. I think I'm pretty good at this most of the time. Really good with
I got some former players, though.
That works, too.
Okay.
I can do that, throw that in. So I'll start, Zach. I'm going to go for yours. We'll go Von Miller. Where did Von Miller go to college?
USC.
Now an SEC. What was that?
Oh, I said USC.
No, it is now an SEC school. I'll give you one more guess.
It is not an SEC school, or it is?
It is now, and it is currently an SEC school.
Oklahoma?
No, they're not in the SEC yet. That's 2023.
Oh, I thought they. Oh, you mean like they're there now? Like they played this season as an SEC team?
Yes.
Tennessee.
Last guess.
I don't know. Just give it to me.
Texas A&M.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, he went to. Did he go to the same time as Johnny Manziel did?
I believe so. If not, it was right before.
That makes sense. I remember them being good friends.
Yep. All right. Well, we'll go with ones you should know then. Darnell Mooney.
I cannot remember. Memphis?
Same conference.
I don't know that conference, but me.
Tulane. He was a Green Wave.
Okay.
Let's go. All right, we'll keep it in the Bears realm. Jim McMahon.
BYU.
Good job, Zach. That's all right.
Would never known that. He showed up to training camp his rookie year with the 6-pack of beer. Yeah,
that's very true. Let's go with. I got a couple right here. All right, I know this. You should know this. Walter Payton.
Oh, did he go to Jackson State?
He went to. Hang on, I'm double checking. I'm pulling this up. He did go to Jackson State. I believe they're 1AA right now. So that's good job. You're 2 for 4. Let's end this correctly. We're going to go with one guy you should hate, but you should also know. Where'd Brett Favre go to college?
Oof. A Southern school, right?
A Southern school. It's even in the name.
Mississippi State?
Southern Mississippi.
Oh, Southern Mississippi. Close enough.
You had them together. You had Southern and you had Mississippi. I'll give you like half credit. You went 2.5 out of 5.
I'll take that.
Hang on. I got to exit my tab so I can't be accused of cheating.
I'm not worried about that for me. Chase Daniels.
Chase Daniels went to Missouri.
And he's made a lot of money.
He stinks, but he made a lot of money.
Robert Tanya Jr.
That's a good one.
Did I say his last name right?
Yeah, Bob Tunyon.
I would have never thought of this.
Cincinnati.
Indiana State.
Damn. Yeah. I could have sat here for 30 minutes and wouldn't have got that one. That's a 1AA school.
Yeah. He was just on Bustin' with the Boys. It was a very good interview. I think you should listen to
I'll
it.
have to check that out. I like Bob.
Anthony Miller. He made a crazy catch. Did you see all those balls he caught today? Footballs?
Anthony. Yeah. Was he the one that caught 7 balls?
Yeah. Former
Anthony
Bear.
Miller. He was drafted by the Bears, right?
Yes, he was.
Was it a big name school?
I've said the name of the school.
USC?
Memphis.
Damn. No, I wouldn't have got that one either.
All right. Joe Namath. Had to throw it way back.
Joe Namath went to that was Alabama, wasn't it?
Yeah. That's wild.
Yeah.
And my last one is Aaron Hernandez.
I'll get to that in a second, but Joe Namath is arguably the worst Hall of Fame NFL player of all time. Should not be in the NFL.
I mean, the stats were wild back then. I mean,
dude,
he probably had no offensive line. I understand what you mean. Yeah, he had a lot of.
The guy
had
like
more interceptions
25
and
more interceptions and touchdowns.
I understand that, but he was also probably getting lit up.
He was also getting
good for that
lit
time.
up every night. The guy was a party animal. Should have focused a little more.
What I mean is the Hall of Famer then, that's their stats, buddy.
I know.
Football was nuts back in the day. Now answer my question, please.
Aaron Hernandez went to Florida. I have his jersey right there.
I just wanted everyone to remember that.
Yeah. We should probably edit that out that I have his jersey over there.
Oh, yeah.
But
no,
that's
we're
my
not going to
brother's
edit that
fault
out.
Anyway. Yeah, that's fair. All right. Let's move into another new segment. And this is a game like when people have weird talents, I feel like, and I make my wife read the list of them every once in a while to brush up on my skills. I feel like I know 95% of all Division I college and universities nicknames. So this is Mascot Matchup.
I don't know if a lot of these schools they're college schools. They're colleges. I mean, I know they're not like all big time schools.
All right. Well, I'll do my best.
This is gonna be very hard.
Best. Oh, jeez. Are they Division I colleges?
Delta State University.
The Delta State. They're the Devils. The Delta Devils, I believe.
No, I got Okra. Their mascot is Okra.
Oh, I was thinking of Delta Valley State. They're two different
Delta
places.
State. It's okra. Isn't it like a vegetable?
Yes, the fighting okra.
Mascot. Dartmouth College.
It's the big green. Or the mean green. I'm sorry, mean green.
I got Keggy the Keg.
You went with just mascot names. I meant nicknames.
Oh, no, I don't know the nicknames either. You said mascot. It says Mascot Match Up.
All right.
Well, this one would be, Xavier University?
Yeah, they're the Musketeers. No idea what their mascot's name is.
The Blue Blob.
The Blue Blob. I like that.
Yeah. And then this one, North Carolina School of Arts. You're never going to figure it out. It's the Fighting Pickle.
That's great. I really respect that.
And then you'll know this one. This one is Tennessee.
The Volunteers. It's the dog.
Smokey.
Yeah. Yep.
Smokey the dog.
That's a good one. All right. I've got ones for you then. Western Kentucky.
No idea.
Big Red. It literally, when you said Blue Blob, it made me think of this one because it's just a blob of red.
Really? What?
Yeah. The University of California at Santa Cruz.
Surfboard.
Banana slugs.
Oh,
All right, this should be an easy one for you. What is Ohio State's mascot's name?
Bucky? With a Buckeye.
You're really close. It's Brutus the Buckeye.
Oh, Okay, Brutus. That's a good one. I went over that one.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I think this is a dumb one. This is one I would come up with. The University of Delaware.
Oh, I can't remember what they are.
So
Something
their
light
nickname
blue.
is their nickname is the Blue Hens. Their mascot's name is UD because it's literally UD, University of Delaware. And then I'll give you an easy one. Oklahoma.
The Sooner?
Boomer and Sooner. They're the two horses that drive the thing in. I'll have to make sure when we do this the next time that I want you to quiz me on college team nicknames because I feel like I know 95% of them.
Maybe we'll just make that.
I literally, like I said,
I just quizzed you.
Yep. So I think I've been practicing a little bit. I think I went like maybe got 10 wrong, maybe 10 I didn't know. So I have to brush up on my mascot names too. But let's wrap things up. As always, we have the TCF top 3. And this is the sweetest football position. So if we had to pick a position in football to play, which one would we think would be the sweetest to play? Zach, would you like to get us started?
Quarterback.
Obviously.
That's the coolest position of all time.
But, all right, counterpoint. You ever gotten tackled? Sucks. Part of the reason I quit football.
It most rarely happens to the quarterback.
Yeah, but like a blindside hit happens most frequently to a quarterback.
Position to play, though.
Nah, I got asked to play
any
quarterback
position in football, you could at some point get lit up.
Yeah, but I feel like quarterback, you're just begging for trouble.
What's yours then? Just tell me what yours is then.
I will go the sweetest position has got to be it's got to be I'm between two here. I'll go middle linebacker. You're like the most feared guy on the field.
Yeah.
That's got to be up there. And then my second round pick, I'll take wide receiver. That's got to be pretty sweet.
Yeah. I'm going to go with fullback because, I mean, who doesn't love a fullback? That's a sweet position.
Well, yeah, especially
you're just out there to just either protect the running back or like goal line.
Yeah.
And then my third would be like cornerback because like that, how cool it'd be to have an interception on somebody.
That's true. And you get to be a little cocky, a little swaggy.
You're literally running backwards.
Like that. All right. Mine is going to be an unorthodox third round pick. I'm going punter. And I'm going to say that because you have a very important job and you very rarely ever get hit. And you don't have to make a tackle. It seems like, I mean, the way Pat McAfee make it seems, if you're good at it, you're just kind of hanging out in an NFL locker room. You don't have to get hit, and you just got to be able to place balls. Like that's got to be.
You got to watch out sometimes. You're more likely to get hit than a field goal kicker.
Yeah, but I feel like there's more pressure on a field goal kicker.
Oh well, yeah. I'm just saying.
You know what I mean?
You got to run all the way down the field, and there's a lot of opportunity to get hit as a punter.
Yeah, no, I agree. But I feel like if you just keep your head on a swivel, like a lot of times those big hits you see like punters take is because they're like not looking in one direction. Like if you're smart enough, you just stay away from all of it. Like I'm not going to go in and try and make a tackle. I'm the punter, dude. Like here to kick balls. I'm not here to tackle anybody, you know.
Very
keep it simple. Very simple. But that was episode 141 of Typical Chicago Fans. Obviously, content going to start picking up here. We got the NFL right around the corner, college football even before that. I completely whiffed on media recommendations. If you've made it this far, you have to go follow TNT College Football Podcast, our guy Bobby Wilson. has been doing his rundown of every single FCS team in the country. Every day he's got 2 teams that he's covering. We're going to have to get Bobby on here before college football season. The guy has forgotten more about college football than me or Zach know right now. So make sure that you are checking out TNT College Football Podcast on Twitter. But our content's going to pick up here. We have a new food review out on YouTube. I've actually just got an order in the last couple days. We'll be filming another one here soon. I got some Oreos. I believe they're from China. We're going to do, I believe it's China or Korea, one of the two. So we'll be putting some more stuff up on YouTube. Make sure that you are checking us out on Twitter at typical_Chicago, Facebook and Instagram as well. Wherever you get your podcast, make sure you subscribe to us there. Make sure to follow Zach on Twitter at ZLiliaTCF. You can follow me at BoomyTCF. And of course, like I said, the main page, typical_Chicago. While you're on Twitter following all those pages, make sure you follow at Connect Roasters. Get you some of the best coffee around. Thank you for joining us. That was episode 141 of Typical Chicago Fans. We love you all.
Peace.